talk about open houses. Has anybody licensed, unlicensed, has anybody ever been to an open house, whether you were going to buy a house and you went to go look at an open house, or you're an agent and you've shadowed an open house, anything? Have you ever even been in an open house in general? Okay, Ryan, Caleb. So how many people have heard that open houses as an agent is a waste of time? Caleb. So a lot of agents. So first off, if you're going to join a team or have a mentor and that agent says, don't do an open house, it's a waste of time, just like run away from that person, because they're probably not a very good agent, because that is a complete lie. Open houses is primarily where I get all of my leads. They're the warmest leads. They're the easiest to talk to. I do open houses probably every weekend. I do them every weekend, actually. It's not probably, I do. Because they work, I believe in them, but you have to do them correctly. So today we're going to talk a little bit about open houses, because you can do an open house every weekend, but you could do it incorrectly. It comes down to the environment, scripting, everything like that. And if you are an agent and you're licensed or you're working on your license, talk with your community. See if you can just look up agents around your area and see if you can shadow an open house. You don't have to talk to anybody. You can just sit there and watch, because open houses are solid. Zor, have you done any open houses at all?
Yeah, I've done several. And yeah, they're definitely beneficial for getting leads. So all the people that sign in that aren't represented by agents, you definitely want to follow up with those people the next day. At least put them in your CRM and start sending them houses that they might be interested in that are similar to that one they checked out. But yeah, definitely a beneficial task to get out there and start talking to people and practicing the language and getting leads.
Exactly. Yeah. So a lot of the open house is, of course, you doing the open house itself, but I was also following up. Following up is huge. I have a 5-day follow-up system. I know Zor uses BombBomb. I'm not sure if anyone else uses BombBomb, but my follow-up system involves BombBomb. First day after I meet them, I send them an email with the BombBomb. The second day I text them, hey, did you receive my BombBomb? The third day I call them, hey, did you see my BombBomb? We really want them to see that BombBomb. If people don't know what BombBomb is, it's a video. It's basically like a text where you can send a video of yourself. It makes you stand out a lot. I have people call me after they open my BombBombs and they're like, I have never received anything like that before. You sent me a video, like what the heck? So the third day is a call, fourth day is another BombBomb. The fifth day is call or text. And at the fifth day, they still haven't replied to me. I'm going to do it all over again. And I know it sounds like a lot, but typically, I forgot the exact number, but the fourth day is usually when a lead will actually respond to you. So even if they see your emails and they're not responding to you, a lot of times I'll get a text and they'll be like, I've seen your videos every day, or I see your calls or text. Sorry, I'm not responding. I've been so busy, but it really does go a long way. And if you stick to that follow-up system, it will more than likely work. So when it comes to open houses, my team, that's like our thing. We do open houses. I mean, that's what we pride ourselves on. That's our bread and butter. It's primarily in our listing strategy, the way we list homes and everything. But open houses is what we do. And so I do them all the time. And like I said, I do them all the time because they work. So of course you have your scripting, but first off, just having the certain vibe of the open house. We have a 12 by 2 foot red carpet when it goes into the open house, to where it makes that potential buyer feel like they are walking into their new home. We have music playing, we have drinks, snacks, and we don't have just like water. Like I bring like mimosas and White Claws, and people are always, when they see the White Claws, they're like, why do you have White Claws? And then like say, they're opening one, they're drinking them, and it's a good time. You want to break the ice. You want everyone to feel like they're at home, because the way I describe open houses is imagine a car dealership. Okay. if you're a car salesman as a realtor, and let's say, like I've mentioned before, real estate is all an outbound business. You're not going to have people coming to you. I wish I had people coming up to me every single day asking me to list their house or help them buy, or every agent would be successful if it was like that, but unfortunately it's not. And so as a car salesman, you have people walking into your dealership and they're, hey, I buy a car. That's the same with the open house. That house that you're hosting for the open house is your car dealership. You have people coming there. Now, occasionally you might have people that are just like, we're just looking around, but still have good conversation. You never know where that could lead to, or they might buy a house in a couple of years. But a lot of people who are coming in there are either just now looking, they're seriously looking, they're pre-approved, they might not have an agent, and if they do have agents, push them to. I've gotten clients who said they have agents, and then next thing you know, now they're not working with that agent anymore because they met me. So don't ever feel intimidated if they have an agent. And then also, a lot of times agents will come in with clients will come in with their agent, and if they're now at EXP, guess what? You can recruit them. And then what happens when you recruit them, they make them your sponsor, and then you can work in your EXP downline. So there's so much opportunities at open houses. It's just doing it the right way. A lot of times you'll walk into open houses. I've walked into open houses and the agents on the couch, on the phone, they're just like, look around. If you have any questions, ask. But my open houses, I mean, it's a party. It literally is. I mean, I have music, I have flyers. I'm there, I'm standing, I'm talking to everyone. I really want them to feel welcomed, and it really does go a long way. And if you stick to that follow-up system, it will more than likely work. So when it comes to open houses, my team, that's like our thing. We do open houses. I mean, that's what we pride ourselves on. That's our bread and butter. It's primarily in our listing strategy, the way we list homes and everything. But open houses is what we do. And so I do them all the time. And like I said, I do them all the time because they work. So of course you have your scripting, but first off, just having the certain vibe of the open house. We have a 12 by 2 foot red carpet when it goes into the open house, to where it makes that potential buyer feel like they are walking into their new home. We have music playing, we have drinks, snacks, and we don't have just like water. Like I bring like mimosas and White Claws, and people are always, when they see the White Claws, they're like, why do you have White Claws? And then like say, they're opening one, they're drinking them, and it's a good time. You want to break the ice. You want everyone to feel like they're at home, because the way I describe open houses is imagine a car dealership. Okay. If you're a car salesman as a realtor, and let's say, like I've mentioned before, real estate is all an outbound business. You're not going to have people coming to you. I wish I had people coming up to me every single day asking me to list their house or help them buy, or every agent would be successful if it was like that, but unfortunately it's not. And so as a car salesman, you have people walking into your dealership and they're, hey, I buy a car. That's the same with the open house. That house that you're hosting for the open house is your car dealership. You have people coming there. Now, occasionally you might have people that are just like, we're just looking around, but still have good conversation. You never know where that could lead to, or they might buy a house in a couple of years. But a lot of people who are coming in there are either just now looking, they're seriously looking, they're pre-approved, they might not have an agent, and if they do have agents, push them to. I've gotten clients who said they have agents, and then next thing you know, now they're not working with that agent anymore because they met me. So don't ever feel intimidated if they have an agent. And then also, a lot of times agents will come in with clients will come in with their agent, and if they're now at EXP, guess what? You can recruit them. And then what happens when you recruit them, they make them your sponsor, and then you can work in your EXP downline. So there's so much opportunities at open houses. It's just doing it the right way. A lot of times you'll walk into open houses. I've walked into open houses and the agents on the couch, on the phone, they're just like, look around. If you have any questions, ask. But my open houses, I mean, it's a party. It literally is. I mean, I have music, I have flyers. I'm there, I'm standing, I'm talking to everyone. I really want them to feel welcomed, and you want to break that ice.
This is 115 shop. Come on back.
Okay. Sorry, I thought that was a question. And a lot of times too, like you go into a store, someone asks you for, hey, do you need any help? And you're like, no. 5 minutes later, you're at the cash register and you're checking out. That's the same thing when people are walking to your open house. You're going to ask them, hey, do you want some more information on the property? How are you doing? And a lot of times, no, I don't want anything. So you want to make sure when you're inviting them in, you want to break the ice as much as possible. And you don't want to be that pushy salesman, because honestly, guys, nobody likes realtors. Everyone thinks realtors are pushy salesmen. Some are, some aren't. But a lot of people automatically, when they see a realtor, that's what they're thinking. So before you even get to the open house, I put out at least 30 signs, 20 to 30 open house signs all around the neighborhood. We want to point all the traffic to our open houses. The way and the way our team leader always says it, imagine the open house pointing towards your next commission check. Because yes, your goal of an open house is to sell that listing ultimately, but your goal is to also pull business from that open house. The other way too is I do a lot of door knocking. I'll invite all the neighbors to the open house, because those nosy neighbors that are like, oh, we're just looking, they might want to sell, they might not want to sell right now, they might want to sell later down the road. So that's a whole nother thing we can get into with door knocking. So we'll primarily focus on open houses. So next we'll kind of get into the scripting of open houses. So when someone walks in, right away, they're going to have this barrier. They're going to have this wall. A lot of real estate is you're going to be learning just how to deal with people and how to talk to people as a salesman and not be pushy. And it's all going to come with practice. It's going to come with time. I'm still not perfect at it, but it's repetition. Open houses is repetition. You have to do them a lot. There's guys on my team who are just starting. They're like, I do open houses every weekend for a month and I'm not getting anything from it. I'm doing everything right. And I'm like, you're probably not doing everything right, but that's okay. You're not supposed to be doing anything right now. It's the matter of repetition. But once you get that first one, you're like, it's like a light bulb. It just comes off. You're just like, okay, this makes sense. I know what to do now. But the scripting I'm going to share is the way I do it. When you start to do it, you might be like, well, I don't like this. I like doing it differently. Everyone's going to have their own way to talk. Everyone's going to have their own way to build relationships. So yours might be different than mine. Yours might be exactly the same as mine. And I don't do the same one every single time. Again, it comes down to reading the person. I can be at an open house and I can see a person walk in now, and I can automatically tell you if that person's even going to be worth my time. Because I've just done a ton of open houses. So it comes with time. So as soon as someone walks in, the first thing I do is I'm not sitting on the couch. I'm inviting them in, and right away, they already have the wall. I want to break that barrier. So I go, hey, my name's Justin, realtor with the Bridge Group here. How you doing? How'd you find the open house? A lot of them automatically, I'm not forcing them to sign in right away. Right away, I want to break that ice and, oh yeah, we're doing good. We found the open house through HAR, which is our MLS here. And I go, well, did you see all the open house signs? And they're like, yeah, we did. And you know, I tell them, well, yeah, I worked really hard on putting them out there. It's so hot outside. And they don't care. They don't care that it's hot outside or anything, but I'm just building conversation. I'm just talking to them. And it might not seem like a lot, but you're starting to tear down that wall because, like I said, they have it up right now. You just want to talk. You just want to be a normal person. So after you kind of have that little bit of conversation, you ask them if they want some information on the property. We have sign-in sheets. If you don't have sign-in sheets at an open house, you're wasting time. Unless, I mean, if you don't want to pull business, then you're not wasting time. But if you want to pull business, always make anyone who walks in sign in. Whether the main goal is to at least get an email, a name, and a phone number. If you can't get a phone number, I always prefer email because I do weekly database videos to stay top of mind. That's another topic we can get into. But I send out videos. I do YouTube videos. I do reels. If y'all follow me on Instagram, I do a ton of reels. So I send those out to any clients that I get, whether they have worked with me, haven't worked with me. If I pulled them at an open house, I have their email. They're going to get emails from me every week. to stay top of mind. So I always recommend to get an email at the very worst or at the very least. But of course, if you can get all three, and if you can get their address, that's even more of a plus, because if I think they're a very good lead and they're not responding to my calls or emails, I'll just go knock on their door. I don't really care. I know you're like, what the heck? But it's one of those things, once y'all get into real estate and you start doing it a lot, you just kind of like, if you really think you have a good conversation with them, and you know they talked about wanting to sell their house, and they write down their address on that signing card, stop by there, do pop by gifts for like a 4th of July, Christmas. It doesn't even have to be anything real estate related. You can just give them a gift. It goes a long way. So after that, yes, Ryan.
Sorry to interrupt you there.
No worries.
So my question is, what do you think about like the mega open house? Like, I think it's Joe Hollow or somebody like that came up with the strategy of being like, I have these free listings here, you know, come to this open house to receive those. And he kind of used them signing up for the free listings as a sign-in sheet. Like, do you have any creative approaches?
So I actually have a sign. Give me 1 second. I have a sign-in sheet right here. I'll show you what ours look like. So you have a blank one.
Yeah, I'm just curious, because I kind of agree with what he says as far as like people writing down false information.
Yeah, I mean, really, I haven't had that happen once. I actually had someone write down their name is already taken, and I thought it was like, oh, they're just messing with me, like they already have an agent. But he responded to my email, so it was actually a real email. I haven't got any fake emails. At least I don't think I have. But this is what our signing cards look like. I know you can't really see. This is actually a client that we close in a couple weeks for, that I met at an open house. But it's name, phone number, email, their address. What are your thoughts about this home? What are you looking for? These, honestly, they're not too big of a deal. Is your home currently on the market? If it is, they're more than likely working with a realtor. Have you been pre-approved with a mortgage, which is important? We know how serious they are as a buyer. When would you like to move in your new home? But really, the name, if you can get their name, phone number, and email, that's the biggest thing. You want a way to contact them through your follow-up system, and you want to put them in your database, weekly database, to stay top of mind. So that's what, for as far as what you're talking about. I don't really know too much on it, so I don't really want to speak on it, but this has worked for me. Signing cards have worked for me. So I don't see why they wouldn't work for anyone else. So where was I at? So yeah, you have them sign in. I give them a little bit more information. I print out the agent report, which is all the data on the house. It's bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, literally everything you can think about, tax rate. I'm basically going through there. I'm highlighting everything, giving them more information, providing value to them. But when I'm doing that, imagine this is the sheet. I'm going right. This is a signing card. Here's the information on this. When you're doing this, they're going to be like, signing card. A lot of times, if you try to talk to them about the property, then you hand them the signing card. It just gets weird. They don't really want to do the signing card. So I've noticed whenever I go through it and I'm talking to them, hey, this is what this, they automatically know, oh, I'm going to have to sign in. And so I do that, have them sign in. I tell them, hey, if you don't mind, when you're walking around filling this out, it's just a little bit of feedback I can get to the sellers, what you think of the property, pros, cons. Feel free to reach out. There's drinks, snacks, make yourself at home. And then I always say this, because I want them to, when at the end of the open house, when they're done looking at it, I want them to come back to me and talk to me. I don't want them to walk out the door and not speak to me. I don't want them just to place a signing card. I want to talk to them because I want to provide any type of value I can. And if I can set a buyer's appointment or a listing appointment or just learn more about them before they leave, that's ultimately the goal. So right before I send them off to go look at the house, I say, before you leave, stop by, let me know what you think. So they're automatically, okay, we have to stop by. Then I let them be, I let them look at the home. I don't follow them around.
Where's the keys?
Unless they're like, oh, just the backyard, does it have enough room for a pool? I might go back there with them. But I just kind of let them wander. I let them do their thing. a few months ago, you'd be in an open house and there'd be like 40 people in there. Now there's not really. I did an open house this past weekend, and Sunday there was 2 people that came in. So unfortunately, that's just how it is now with the current real estate market. So, but after they come back, just talk to them. Just talk to them. Hey, what do you think about the home? And this is where you're going to start to push them. And so now you send them out their way. They're looking at the home. They come back. You've already broken the ice a little bit, but now that they kind of stepped away from you, and now that barrier is starting to come back up, but you want to break it down again. So the first thing I always ask is, what did y'all think of the home? And they're like, oh, we like this. And I'm like, so what did you think on the home? Rate it from a scale of 1 to 10. And so they could rate it a 2. I could care less what they could rate it, but we want them to think. We just want them to talk to us. They're like, well, like a 3. I'm like, well, why a 3? Oh, because this. And yes, I'm listening to what they're saying, but it's not a deal breaker for anything. I just want them to talk to me. I want them to have a normal conversation with me. It's back down to breaking that ice, bringing down that wall, bringing down that barrier to where this is when I'm going to start to kind of push them. And ultimately the goal is to set an appointment there. If they mention, we're just looking to buy a home, but we're just starting, set the appointment, set that buyer's appointment, secure them as a client, because if you rely on your follow-up, more than likely, there's a good chance. I mean, you can get them back on the follow-up, but if you can secure a buyer at the open house rather than relying on your follow-up, it's much, much easier. So, so after they say, oh, I rated this because of the bathrooms, the bedrooms aren't big enough. And I go, okay, well, how have you been going about your home search this far? And they, well, we just been looking at open houses. And that's kind of a way to ask them, do you have a realtor? You don't ever want to be like, hey, do you have an agent? And it's automatically, why are you asking me if I have an agent? It doesn't matter. And so the way I ask them is, so how have you been going about your home search? And a lot of times, oh, we just going to open houses. We just started looking. We want to sell our home. We want to upgrade our house. We want to downsize, whatever it is. And then again, from there, I'll kind of build a little bit more conversation off of that. A lot of times they're going to try to pull you away from the script, but kind of go along with it, talk to them, respond to them, but then you want to kind of bring them back on track. And then what I say is, well, look, there's 36 steps to buying a home, which there are 36 steps. There's 36 steps to buying a home. The market is super crazy right now. Kind of briefly talk about the market. Has anyone sat down with you and explained to you the steps and what's going on in the market? Because most agents don't take time to sit down. And I know I was talking to one of the guys in here about this last week. Most agents don't take any time to sit down with their potential buyer and just talk to them. Just talk to them about their criteria, talk to them about the market. A lot of times people will get a buyer and then they'll just go start showings. And there's no type of relationship that you're building versus if you sit down with them for an hour, learn about them, set expectations. And so they will see that connection. They'll see your effort. And they will probably never leave you as a buyer. I don't ever have any of my buyers fill out a buyer rep agreement because they're not going to want to leave me anyways. So, and it's because I do my buyers appointments. I've had very few transactions in the beginning when I first started that I didn't do a buyer's appointment. Ended up firing some of those clients. So I always do my buyer's appointment. And so when you ask them, has anyone sat down with you and explained these steps? Has anyone learned about your criteria? A lot of times they'll go, oh, no one has actually. And that's boom, right there. Set the appointment, find time to meet them and potentially have a new buyer. But a lot of times they'll go, oh, no, we already have an agent, or, we've already been putting offers on homes. And from there, you can kind of push off the gas, but even sometimes, I'm never going to see these people again, so I could care less. I'll go, where's your agent right now? What happens if you like this home and you want to put an offer on it? Where's your agent? A lot of times it kind of stumps them. But again, like I said, you're never going to see this person again. A lot of the times in real estate, when I first started, I was kind of nervous to do stuff like that. I'm like, well, what if they get kind of upset with me? And it was ultimately the fear of rejection. Once you get over that fear of being rejected, you kind of just say whatever you want, and you know, within reason, of course. But you really want to push these people and really try to get them to respond to you. I've had several clients that I've actually closed with who were very standoffish to me, but I pushed them very, very hard. I asked them a lot of questions that they were avoiding. And a lot of times when you ask them these questions, like, has anyone sat down with you, explained to you these steps or got your criteria? A lot of times they'll act like they haven't even heard me, because now they're kind of getting the idea of, oh, he's trying to make me his client. And so I've had some buyers go, oh, you know, they just kind of, they don't even answer it. And so I'll bring up the question again. And I've had several clients who you just have to push and eventually they'll open up. But ultimately the goal is to set the appointment. If they're like, you know, we don't know how serious we are yet, we don't want to really meet with a realtor right now, you go, hey, that's perfect. Look, next week, when's a good time I can follow up with you to see if you want to find a time to meet? And unfortunately, you have to rely on your follow-up. But if you give them that time and you go, hey, when's a good time I can reach back to you? A lot of times they can set that standard. Oh, well, you know, typically you can reach me on Monday mornings or Tuesday mornings or whatever. But imagine you reach them back when they ask, but then also you're doing your 5-day follow-up system, whether it's emails, text, calls, all on that. You want to stay as top of mind as much as you can. That's all this. That's what this industry is, guys. It's top of mind. It's making sure that your potential lead, potential prospect knows who you are, because you're spamming their email, their text.
This dinner is quick, delicious, and you only need to buy.
And everything like that. So for my listings, a lot of times when they go, you know, we're looking to sell in the future. Right now, this is what I'm saying is, hey, look, I have a ton of clients in this area, even if I don't. I can rely on my team because our team has a ton of listings. So I can go, hey, look, I have a ton of listings. My team has a ton of listings in this area. Right now, I am offering free CMAs for all of my past, future, and current clients who are looking at home right now, because it is summertime. There's a lot of potential buyers. Would that be something you're interested in? And most sellers won't deny a home evaluation. Some sellers just want to know what their home is worth. I'll send them a very generic video through BombBomb on their home's value. Or if I can tell that they really want to sell soon, I'll just go ahead and try to set the listing appointment there where we actually meet in person and talk about listing their home. So a little in depth about this, guys. I could go more into depth. There's so many different ways to branch off of what you say. And this is the script isn't the exact wording you need to say every time. Again, it comes with experience. It comes with time. Each person's going to be different. It just comes down to reading people and learning how to say the right thing to that person. So, Ryan, do you have any questions or comments or?
Yeah, so I just wanted to, I guess, brainstorm with you.
Yeah.
So being on Zillow, you know, their motto is ALM, so appointment, location, and motivation, right? Sometimes there's like, it seems like there's certain buyers who key in on a house, especially on like the Zillow website, right? They want to see that house. How do you redirect that to the appointment more efficiently?
Yeah. Really, you don't want to force them. You don't want to pinch them in like you don't want to put them in an area like, no, like you're not going to see this home. We're going to go get coffee first so I can talk to you. Of course, that's the goal. Look, if you can take them on one showing and they're like, you know, you meet them at the open house and they're like, hey, we love this. And again, it comes back to knowing your area. And you're like, hey, look, I know a perfect listing right down the road, actually, that checks off all the boxes. I'll be out of here in a couple hours. Would you want to go see it? And if they like the home, then great. If they don't, that's when at that showing, hey, look, I know this property doesn't check off all the boxes, but I would love to find time to get to know your criteria a little bit more, go over what's going on in the market, and then from there set the appointment. I have done that several times. I've gone on listings. I have my own listings and they'll like text me through the HAR, which is our MLS. They'll text me through the app and they'll be like, hey, can we go view this home? And they don't have agents. And I'm like, hey, yeah, I'll go show you this home. And so I'll go show them my own listing. And then they'll be like, oh, I don't like this home. And then I'll just have them as a new buyer. It doesn't work out like all that, but it just, I had like 3 people want to come see my listing and none of them had agents. It just was weird how that happened. But if you have somebody who really wants to go see a certain home, go show it to them, of course. And if they like the home, then of course put in an offer. But if they don't, set that buyer's appointment, learn more about them. But also, and I know I said it, the good thing about buyer's appointments is you can also set expectations. If it's a first-time home buyer, they have no clue what they are doing. You can walk them through everything. You're going to make yourself stand out, but you don't have to get all these calls throughout your entire transaction. A transaction typically takes 30 to 45 days to close. Imagine if you took an hour out of your day to explain to them all of their questions, and then throughout the entire transaction, they never ask you anything because you've already gone through everything with them. Or you're like, I don't want to do a buyer's appointment. I don't have an hour out of my day. But now they're texting you, calling you. What happened here? What's going on in the option period? Why is why did I lose my earnest money? Like, what do you mean I lose my earnest money if it's outside of the option period? If you set those expectations beforehand, during that buyer's appointment, makes the transaction 10 times easier. Trust me, I've learned with experience. So always set the appointment. So yeah, just to answer your question a little bit more. Any more questions about the open house? I know we're a little bit over the 30-minute mark. Anyone has anyone done an open house other than Zora?
I do have one question, but it's not about the open house, but there is something that goes into it. Where can we look to find like current matters on the market, like what the market is doing, and how can we read that? Like, how do we explain that?
As far as like where can you go to find information on like what's going on in the market?
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, you can literally everything you can look up online now, of course. But I mean, honestly, find local lenders. Lenders are very, very knowledgeable. Find lenders that you can go look. If as a new agent, you're going to have a very open schedule. Find those times to sit down with anybody and everybody, whether that's a lender and, hey, I'm a new agent. What's going on in the market? Can you let me know what's going on in the market? You can go meet with local lenders, go meet with the realtor. That's the top realtor. You'd be surprised, guys. A lot of realtors would be more than happy to sit down with you and explain to you about anything. I don't know a realtor who wouldn't, especially if it's with EXP, because they're probably going to try to recruit you. But a lot of people are always willing to go meet you in person. So definitely that's a way to do it. But also just look up stuff online, listen to podcasts. That's the way I mean, of course, I'm a realtor. And so I'm involved every day with real estate. So I just know what's going on in the market. But I also listen to a lot of podcasts. I watch YouTube videos. I read articles. There's so many different ways. And also your MLS, if you're subscribed to your MLS, my MLS they put out monthly market updates about inventory and stuff like that. So that's another way you can do it. But really, I think the best way is just to find people to meet, talk about the market, find people in your area, realtors, lenders, anyone and everyone.
Hey, I just wanted to, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, obviously, but I just wanted to kind of specify with that, because from my personal experience, I know a lot of people like to throw around the term the market, pretty loosely.
Yep.
What's the market doing? What's the market doing? This, whatever, what's happening? And I think it's a fair argument to say that there are actually like many different markets depending on where you're at.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm looking at houses, I'm looking at apartments right now for my own personal use. And I'm over here, in Jacksonville, and it's fairly affordable, in the area, lots of houses, right? If you go 2 hours to Raleigh, no houses, right? It's like almost zero houses available. Everyone's in townhomes or condos. So, I mean, there's your local market, there's multiple different markets around your direct area. And then there's, of course, the national market of the entire United States. There's statewide markets. And maybe I'm not completely correct when I said, you know, some of those things, but that's just what I've been finding from my own personal experience, is that while your direct market, say in your immediate 10-mile radius, might be doing well, you go 1 hour down the road and the market's just absolutely terrible, if that makes sense.
No, you're exactly right. Look, I mean, if someone's asking about the market in your area, generally you'll be speaking about your specific market, and they're more than likely asking about the specific market. I mean, I'm out here in Houston. And if any of y'all are familiar with Houston, Houston is a very, very, very large city. Just south of here, I'm actually helping a buyer buy a piece of land. It's a beautiful piece of land, has a beautiful home on there, but it's sitting. It's a completely different market, although it's an hour away. So you're exactly right. You know, a lot of these smaller towns, they're actually behind what's going on now. I mean, it's every market is different. Of course, you can talk about the general market. Right now, generally, what we're seeing is, of course, interest rates. We're seeing those go up. We're seeing homes sitting on the market a little bit longer. So, you know, there's so many different markets. And if someone's asking you about the market, then more than likely, if it's someone in your area, they're probably talking about the specific area. So it really just depends. Challenge to everyone in here is to have a video posted next time we meet. And then to the people that do it, please tag me in it. I'll go ahead and put my Instagram again in the Slack because I want to see your videos. And then whoever does do them too, we can talk about it next week and see if anybody got any cool feedback from it. And you'd be surprised. I guarantee you there's going to be one person in here. I guarantee you if one of y'all post a video this week, I promise you, at least one of y'all will have a new client by the next time we talk. I can almost guarantee it. So again, guys, sorry for going a little bit over. If you have any questions, stay after, but y'all are all more than welcome to leave.